Alright, welcome to Group Three's project demo. I'm Nihal and I'm going to be demoing this for you guys. So yeah, let me just open up Spendwise. Let's start with scenario um, 1. So in this scenario, basically, I'm going to be Rahul. Let me create an account. So let's do Rahul at gottech.edu. And then let's do password as password, something super basic. Register, and yeah, start. We're gonna have to log in now, and we should have our ID successfully created. So our credentials should now work. Rahul@gottech.edu, with the password just being. Oh, let me turn caps lock on. Password. Alright, so now we're logged into the app. We're getting a reminder. Obviously, I haven't logged any expenses recently. Just made the account. So we have placeholder budget, so 650. That's something that our group just rudimentarily set. So we have budgets that are automatically given. So we've already assigned one for entertainment and one for general monthly. These are just loading, I presume. So yeah, let's start ahead now. Let's create a budget. So let's say I want to set a food budget. So let me just set that food budget. Let's say the total amount should be 50. Categories: food and dining, frequencies weekly, and then we can sort of save budget. And budget saved. Now on dashboard, we should see that change reflected 700. Also can toggle between light mode and dark mode. And yeah, here we go. Yeah, there's different types of graphs that we have. So budget overview, these are the different categories we have, and things like that. So yeah, things have loaded up now. You can see the 3 budgets. Now let's make some expenses and understand how the expense functionality works. So let's say I want to create an expense. I went to Trader Joe's today and got some groceries. So sorry, let me just say Trader Joe groceries, and let's make the amount $30. Category: food and dining, and let's save that expense. So as you can see, that expense is now loaded up. Got a budget. You can see that you've used up 30 of it, as you can see in your card. And yeah, we have a budget calculator, so you can calculate according to the remaining budget you have left, 20. Yeah, so if you go to dashboard now, it should show your spending by category. Instead of a placeholder chart, now you'll have an actual chart. So that's food and dining, and then yeah, if you add more expenses, you should see different sort of updates. Let's go to saving circle and create a saving circle as well. So let's just call this like a test group. Let's say the challenge title is Wednesday Warriors. Maybe a community of people that just save money on Wednesdays or something. Let's keep the goal amount like 50. Let's do the frequencies weekly, obviously being a Wednesday. And yeah, start date's November 26th. So let's create that. Yeah, as you can see now, you have this. We can invite a member. So let's invite one of my test accounts. Now we can go visit this test account towards the sort of end of the session. And I can show you how I see the invite and how I can perceive it. So yeah, example.com. So send invitation. Got the notification that it's been sent successfully. I can see my account. I can see how much I've spent, things like that. And then yeah, then we have the chat bot. So let's sort of like maybe walk through the scenario right now and see how everything works out. So we've seen the registration, we've seen the login, we've seen how placeholder was displayed on the dashboard, on the expenses, budgets, and how everything was pretty intuitive to go about the process of using this app. Now from the dashboard, let's put Rahul into the budget sort of screen, and let's create 3 budgets. So let's make first budget. Let's make the first budget. Let's just make something super basic so I can go through this quickly. Let's say budget 1, $50. Category, I'm gonna say transportation. Frequency, I'm gonna say weekly. save the budget. We already made that first budget initially, so this will be my then third budget, budget 2. Total amount again, let's just put 100 for now, and let's put categories transportation. Let's make this a monthly one. All right, so yeah, as you can see, you know, there's the 3 budgets that I just made. It's budget 2, budget 1, and food. So this is pretty cool. We just made the 3 budgets on this demo, and then now let's go to the expense log screen and let's log multiple expenses. So yeah, okay, let's go ahead. So let's go Trader Joe groceries, you know, November 26th. I'm gonna make an expense. Expense name is maybe Publix. Let's say the amount is gonna be 50. Category is gonna be let's just say food and dining. You know, I can't pick a future date, so we have that validation in place where Rahul won't be allowed to choose a future date, which means there's never a requirement for us to prompt him to do the same. So yeah, let's just pick the current date, which is according to the dashboard setting. Okay, save expense, Publix. So yeah, we've logged multiple expenses now. Now let's go back to the dashboard and go through the visualization. So, you know, obviously we spent food and dining now. We can see that, you know, after all the budgets we've added, we have 770 left. We spent 850, you know, there's multiple visualizations to go through this. This is category wise for budgets. This is category wise for expenditure. Now, yeah, we have the calendar date selector over here. So I can choose like different dates for the app according to this. So yeah, I can go, for example, onto like the 25. And yeah, that's sort of like the global date now, in the sense like if I, you know, create a budget and things like that, it should be on 25th November. Now let's go to spends 90% of one of his budgets and logs another expense for this. So sure, what's one of my budgets? Let's go to that. My budget 1 transportation is $50, so let's spend an expense for that. Let's make that bus. You know, maybe take a bus to like Nashville or something. Let's create category as transportation, and let's say it was $45. All right, so let's save this expense, and we can see it logged here as well now. And now let's go to maybe the chatbot tab and ask for tips. You know, maybe how can I save money on transportation? And again, using free APIs. So yeah, we might have to do this a couple times. How can I save money on transportation? So yeah, obviously, you know, this issue mitigates with paid plans and things like that, but we've hard-coded a decent response. So yeah, I mean, okay, sure. So it's being not great about it, but obviously I do have a save money prompt in place, which has context of a financial data. So this is a prompt that's basically one of the custom commands. So we can just use this, and this will always give us like the right sort of you know, advice based on our actual financial data. So that's great. You know, ways to save money over there. And yeah, maybe we can circle back to this and maybe understand chatbot functionality better once the API isn't giving us that many errors. All right, so now let's sort of, yeah, and as you can see, you know, the timestamps have on each bubble. And we can see how errors are managed, you know, without crashing the entire chatbot. And you can import context from like previous chats. We don't have any at the moment. I go back to history, and you can see, you know, the chatbot saving titles according to the conversation, and you can start new conversations and so on. Now, Rahul opens a saving circle screen. So let's go here, Test Warriors. We already created a new group with goal amounts and, you know, inviting different people. Let's invite, so we already invited Nehal, which sort of is a placeholder for inviting his friend Vignesh. Now the database stores a group metadata under Rahul's user ID. That's happening on our Firebase backend, as you can see through our code. And Rahul now will log a personal contribution towards a group goal through the expense log screen. So yeah, we can do that. We can sort of add a contribution, say I've added like $30 maybe, and add that. So now, there are group updates. It's updated on my dashboard, and I'm gonna log out in a minute and show you Nehal's dashboard, where you should see the same change. And yeah, let's log out now. As you can see, we've entered a new session. So let me go on to Nehal. So this was the entire example we used, right? Obviously, I'll run through Vignesh's scenario as well, but for the purpose of Rahul's scenario, we can use this as the second sort of account that's being communicated with. So let's sign in. Yep, I haven't logged expenses recently. I'm on the placeholder values right now. But yeah, let's go to Saving Circle. So yeah, we can see Rahul at georgiatech.edu, invited you, so I'm gonna accept that invitation. And yeah, so now I have this, so I'm gonna go on test groups called Wednesday Warriors, obviously. Let's go to that, and perfect. I can see Rahul's 30, I can see it's updated on my dashboard. So I have all that functionality in place. All right. So yeah, we should, basically this account is like a old account, has like a lot of stuff from previous sort of expenses and different examples. I can maybe take you to something with just 3 days away. Let me log out and let's go to Nehal 1 at example.com. Sign in. Oh, it's giving me an error. Wow, it's interesting. Okay. I think maybe I'm forgetting the password for that one, so I'm just instead gonna go back to my regular account. And yeah, so we have preloaded budgets and values. Now let's do something in yeah, so then now let's navigate to the dashboard and display our visualizations. So these are the hard-coded values from Sprint 3. This is what this account was used for. So you're seeing the order budgets. Now let's go to the Saving Circle tab. We see a pending invitation. I already accepted that. And now let's go to the group details. So yeah, let's go to let's go to test group. You see members, and we can see contributions. Now let's log in expense of our own. Let's say it's $10, and let's see how this updates the dashboard for this particular test group. Like navigate to the budget screen from now on, obviously, and we can create like a new budget just for transportation. So let's call this like my line bike budget, maybe. Using a lot of lines recently. We can say this is like $50 as well. Category, just doing transportation. Frequency, let's say monthly. Okay, so I can save that, and now I have like a new budget for line. Now we can return to the dashboard, and we can see the visualizations. So remaining budget $700 because we just made a new budget. Obviously keep in mind, the dashboard change was made after that particular point, so previous like budgets don't reflect, but new budgets will all reflect on this dashboard, which is great. And we can see how much we're spending, based on our personal budgets. We can see our budget overview. We can see our spending breakdown. So that's all great, and we can see that it's linked to the back end. Now we can go to the chatbot tab, and we can sort of go. So yeah, I can show you like a scroll. So I said about some of my expenses, and I can also do the same for like this sort of thing, where it's what's my most expensive expenditure, and I can ask you different things. You can always see the timestamps of the chatbot and of your own timestamping, so that's all great as well. And you can see that it's all scrollable. I can scroll through it up and down. Yeah, so let's go to dashboard. Let's log out now, and I can go back into Rahul's account, and let's go Rahul at example, sorry, I believe it was rahulagodtech.edu at, and this was just password. Sign in. All right, so yeah, I can see the spending breakdown, and let's go to Savings Circle. Yeah, I can see, Vignesh has accepted my, sorry, Nehal, I guess, has accepted my request. I can see it's active, $10, and things like that. And yeah, I think I'm displaying basically all the functionality of the scenario. A chatbot, the fact that you have custom commands, you're gonna save money, you're gonna summarize my spending, comparing. So these are different ways you can interact with the chatbot. You can see that you can look at history. I can start a new conversation. I can import context from, let's say, this conversation, so I can import that. So these are different, like, sort of, this is different past, and I can ask questions based on that. Like, what context do you have, and I can show you examples of that. Maybe let me just log out, and I can show you like a lot of examples of that on my other account, because I have so many chatbots already there for context. So let me just go and have an example. Let me put in my password. So yeah, I'm logged in. Just let's go to chatbot, and let's say start a new conversation. So yeah, over here when I start a new conversation, let's immediately import some context. So let's identify and evaluate. Maybe I like this one. Oh, we're facing some error. Second. Yeah, and then you can go through history, evaluate it. Oh, this is not the right one. Let's give you maybe a better example. Yeah, so this was me sort of asking, how can I afford like an $80,000 car, and this was me like giving it context about like a different sort of, yeah. So I gave it this context, this entire context, and then you can go back to history. How can I save money? I can go like distributing an offer. So it's me asking about like how do I prioritize what's important to me, financially, and how do I prioritize. So yeah, I can create a new conversation, and then I can say import context, and then I can say maybe take this context in, and let's import it. And yeah, so now it knows everything about this conversation. It'll come up with the title for this conversation, and yeah, I can, from this point onwards, I can ask about saving money, where it'll tell me about this, or custom commands, or I can be like, or what are some questions to ask about prioritizing money. I'm not sure if I framed that amazingly well, but yeah, it's more functionality. Facing a lot of API issues right now in terms of phrasal, so it's a bit disappointing, but yeah. So this is sort of how the conversation works, and this is how the chatbot's working. And as you can see, we've been getting notifications the entire time based on if we're spending too much, or when we spend 95% of our budget, or if you haven't logged in expense in enough time. So yeah, so this is just a sort of rundown of what we've done in Sprit 4. Thank you.